What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, there's always a lot of talks in regards to load management. And, I'm so glad that the Clippers president, Lawrence Frank, spoke on load management going into this upcoming season, 2022 to 23 season. And you can look at it on SI.com to check it out yourself if you want more information about that in regards to specific details. But, in taking from what he said from the site, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of course, as he stated on the site, he wants to have his guys ready for basically, April, May, June, the playoffs around that time frame. And if they, the fact that they have so much depth and everything, they're definitely interchangeable with their pieces. And as he was saying that, they want to have enough depth on their team so they can give the big dogs a rest, at times to where the chemistry could still flow very well with the team, even when they do sit out, Kawhi's, PG, players like that, John Wall, when they sit out some games, just to keep their rest up, keep their, keep them fresh, for when the playoffs start later in the season, comes about when, playoffs is arriving. You want to have your players at their best. So I can definitely understand where Lawrence Frank is coming from in regards to saying that he wants to have, a lot of depth to where, they can definitely be interchangeable and give those big dogs rest and stuff like that. So they'll be ready for the playoffs, but also for them to be able to maintain and get through the whole season. So, that's huge for the Clippers because, Lawrence Frank, along with others in the organization, understands one thing. This is probably the Clippers' last opportunity to win a championship with the team they currently have constructed as we speak, because after next season, there could be players like Reggie Jackson missing, maybe Zubac, possibly if they can if they thought to make a trade for him, and maybe a couple other names on there, that, Clippers fans, really enjoy or, think about when they think about the Clippers. So, this is probably the last season they'll be together as the unit that they are in regards to, who you see on the roster as we speak. So, if this is the last season, if it is, then of course, you want to have this season, be the most promising, because they've been together for 4 seasons now. And it's like, to this point, they need something to transpire, which is in regards to a championship, because this team's been projected to win the last few years, but they just weren't able to due to the fact that they, just weren't able to accomplish it due to injuries or, the bubble or some type of situation. It just hindered them from getting to where they wanted to be. So hopefully, this is the year that they, succeed that and get past that. And in order to do so, of course, they need, Kawhi Leonard, the number one guy, along with the rest of the guys, to be there to help, along with, Paul George as well. But they definitely need, Kawhi Leonard to be healthy, because he's definitely the one that can get them over the hump in regards to winning the championship, because his defense and the way he plays both ends of the floor with his offense and defense, it just makes him a very valuable weapon that other teams don't have at their disposal. So with that being said, I agree with Lawrence Frank, and I'm glad that he addressed the load management thing, because a lot of people have negative things to say about it. But this has been happening since the Spurs, since Kawhi been on the Spurs, even before then, before Kawhi got there, he's been on the Spurs, and they were doing the load management. That's where it all came from, with Greg Popovich. And, honestly, when we speak about Kawhi Leonard and load management, a lot of media members and people like that discredit it, but there's really no need to discredit it, because this is who Kawhi Leonard's been the whole time he's been born in the NBA. Greg Popovich taught him everything he knows, and that's what Kawhi goes by. And there's no reason why he shouldn't go by that, because that's worked for him. It's won him multiple championships, and it's made him a top player in this league, even though he load managed, because everybody knows he may load manage during the regular season, but in the playoffs, that's when he shows up the most. And that's where players are personified by, the playoffs more than the regular season. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there who skim through the regular season, which means they watch highlights through Sports Center, or they may watch a game or two here and there when football is out, or just might watch a game or two, just because they're really into it, or, the fact of their certain team is playing or something like that. But my point is, there's a lot of games that goes unnoticed in the regular season of the NBA because they have a lot of games. 82 games is a lot. And then on top of that, you have to go into the playoffs and be able to sustain your success or build momentum going into the playoffs so you can see where your success can take you. So with all that being said, the Clippers have had more injuries seem like than any other team in the NBA, maybe besides, I don't know, you could say Brooklyn but then again, I don't know if Brooklyn, you would put them in there. But either way, I think the Clippers have been one of the most, if not the most injury prone team in the NBA. So with that being said, they have to try to, definitely cover their insurance plan, in which is Kawhi Leonard and PG. They have to make sure they're healthy because they can't go through another season of, telling the fans, oh, next year. It can't just be that all the time. You have to find a way to do it the year that you're in. You see what I'm saying? It can't always be next year. And I think Lawrence Frank and the rest of the staff knows that. So it's like whatever they have to do to get these guys, the main big dogs, through a season and keep them healthy as much as possible, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to hesitate, and nor should they hesitate because, the opportunities of winning is very, very slim, in this league. So, when you think about that in its entirety, the Clippers, have an opportunity to win. They have one of the best teams on paper right now, and they have one of the best teams constructed in the NBA, if not the best, arguably. So, with that being said, I feel like, Lawrence Frank is addressing everything the right way. Of course, the load management is not really a requirement for any team, but it's an option. Even though some may agree, some may disagree, it's an option, and it's an option that has worked. And like I said, Kawhi Leonard is a prime example. He did it for the San Antonio Spurs. He did it with the Toronto Raptors. In both situations, what was the outcome? He got a championship. And that's the thing with Kawhi Leonard, because that's the only way he knows how to play. He knows how to coach himself through the season, get himself, acclimated, in regards to getting back into his rhythm and everything like that. But then when playoff time comes, his rhythm is there, and then his will and his determination to win goes up even higher. And that's the reason why I feel like he's arguably the best playoff performer we've ever seen, maybe besides Magic Johnson or a few others. Of course, Michael Jordan, of course, you can always put Mike in there. But Mike is just a definite. You can put a check beside that. But either way, I feel like Kawhi is definitely one of the best playoff performers we've seen. And I believe that he'll continuously be that if there is opportunity for him to, play his game at a high level the way he has in the past. So with that being said, whatever they got to do to get through the season, it really doesn't matter as long as they find a way to make it through and stay healthy enough to go into the playoffs and see what their outcome is. Because the last time we saw Kawhi Leonard, PG and the rest of these guys, they were down 0-2 every series. But before Kawhi got hurt, regardless of that, they still would have made the finals because they would have ended up beating the Utah Jazz. They're trash. They would have ended up beating the Suns because they just got an overall better team. And I think they would have beat the Milwaukee Bucks as well because I just don't believe Giannis is a better player than Kawhi Leonard overall. So, my opinion is I want to see them healthy this year. Go through the season, of course, and get to the playoffs, and hopefully everybody stays healthy there. And let's see how far the Clippers really can go if everybody's on the floor, and let's just see what the outcome is. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.